Hello Internet, I'm Father Casey Cole, Franciscan Friar and Catholic priest, and in case you don't know me, my entire life is about evangelization. I have been so radically transformed by Jesus and his church, and I just want the entire world to know him as I do. 14 years ago, I started with a blog, offering reflections on friar life in the church, which eventually morphed into a weekly newsletter. 10 years ago, tomorrow, actually, I posted my first YouTube video, and since then have added 590 more videos about faith, church, and culture, all with the hope of drawing people into the church and forming them into missionary disciples. Over the past 7 or so years, I've engaged in some pretty big trips and even stunts to get the world's attention, like a 10-stop, 8,000-mile preaching tour, or that summer when Father Tito and I went to all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums in one summer to preach and to pray with people who would otherwise never go to church. And all the while, for the past 5 years, I've served as a chaplain of a high school, a college, and an elementary school, teaching, preaching, and hopefully inspiring young people to grow in their faith. But as you can see behind me, that part of my life is coming to an end. While I've absolutely loved working with teenagers and will definitely miss them a lot, there's been something pulling at my heart for the past 2 years now. It's a line from a book by Father Raniero Cantalamessa, the preacher to the papal household. Regular viewers will know what I'm talking about because I've mentioned it a few times over the last few years. It's a reflection on the parable of the lost sheep, that Jesus says that we should care so much about the single sheep that we'd be willing to risk the 99 to retrieve it, rejoicing when we do. Only, Cantalamessa points out, the parable has been flipped in the modern world. It is the 99 who have left, yet we as a church spend all of our time serving the needs of the one. At some point, I had to come to grips with the fact that no matter how effective I may have been as a chaplain of a school or a parochial vicar at a parish, I was only ever reaching a very small percentage of the people of the world. Far more people are outside the church than in it, and they're not coming back on their own. We need to go get them. At least some of us do. Some of us have to get out of our churches, out of our schools, out of our explicitly Christian settings to go where people are. We cannot sit back and hope that people have a conversion all on their own while living in the world and just show up at our door. We have to actually do the work of evangelization. And so, that's what I plan to do. With Father Tito and another young friar, Father Jason. Starting in July, we will be moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, the place where all young people seem to be moving, with one purpose and one purpose only: to evangelize young adults. We have not been assigned to a parish. We don't have jobs at schools. Our life will not include filling out sacramental paperwork, teaching religious education, prepping couples for marriage, going to finance council meetings, or overseeing large staffs, as important as all of that is in the life of the church. We definitely need some people to do that, but we also need some people to be completely free of all the day-to-day task of maintaining the institution to go out to the unchurched and fallen away. For us, that will mean being a regular fixture downtown engaging with strangers. It means finding the food trucks near construction sites at lunch to strike up a conversation. It means tailgating, sporting events and concerts, being present on college campuses and breweries, offering hydration stations near parties and festivals, hanging out in the South End or at NODA on Saturday afternoons when people are having fun, and so much more. To meet people and have general conversations, yes, but ultimately to offer invitations to church, to Bible studies, to young adult events, some of which are already being wonderfully run in the diocese, but some of which we'll kickstart ourselves. It is not every day that you get a group of 3 friar priests in their 30s who are able to give their undivided attention to outreach to young adults. Trust me when I say that we've got some exciting ideas. Of course, a mission like this won't be possible without 2 very important things. The first is our fraternity, the brotherhood in which we live. Given that our mission involves spending most of our time outside of the normal structures of the church, engaging with non-Christians and the fallen away, I suspect that we're going to find ourselves in a constant state of spiritual warfare, facing temptations and rejection on a regular basis without the normal support that parishioners offer. The 3 of us would absolutely not be able to do what we're setting out to do without a strong home life focused on prayer, simplicity, and brotherly support. It's because of this that at this point in our planning, we have probably spent more time working on how we're going to live together than we have with the mission itself. The foundation of our home life is that important, and we see it as an opportunity to lean into the rigor that this life is supposed to offer, but isn't always present. As far as I can tell, we are going to pray together as much, if not more, than any of our other friar communities. We are going to do common penances and focus heavily on living simply. We are going to set aside an entire day, each week, for nothing but the brotherhood. Prayer, Mass, faith sharing, house meetings, chores, and recreation together. Time for us to ground ourselves in who we are supposed to be. Ministry opportunity comes up? Sorry, that's friar time. That's prayer time. One day a week, this has to be our highest priority. The hope with this being, obviously, that we grow in holiness ourselves, but more than that. Not just for ourselves or just so that we can do more work. It's the hope that the integrity of our lives inspires others to do the same, as missionary disciples, but maybe even as Franciscan friars. So yes, the fraternity, number one, incredibly important in keeping us grounded on the straight and narrow with this new and wild ministry. But if it is going to work, we are also going to need help from someone else. You. As I said earlier, we are not going to be working at a parish or school, which is great in the sense that we won't have to worry about some of the mundane things that keep us from evangelization, but it also means that we can't eat. No job equals no food. Thanks to an incredible donation from a generous sponsor, as well as with the help of our Province of Friars in the Diocese of Charlotte, we're not going to starve within the first few months, which is comforting. But beyond that, we're going to need to rely on the generosity of the faithful. Would you please consider supporting this ministry of evangelization, either as a one-time gift or a monthly donation? Your gift will allow us to focus entirely on reaching the unchurched and fallen away, to go after the 99 who have become lost and who will not come back on their own. Someone has to go after them. Someone has to go to the places where they gather, to speak their language, to offer them an invitation and accompany them on their journey. I understand that it's not a task for everyone, but if you believe that it is a task for someone, that we as a church need to devote serious time and resources to the unchurched and fallen away, I hope that you will consider supporting us in any way that you can. If a financial gift is what you can offer, there's a link in the description below of how you can do that, but your prayers are just as important to us. Come July 1st, we're entering a whole new world, and we could use all the help we can get. Naturally, people might be wondering what's going to happen to this channel. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have a new studio, but don't worry, the channel is going to continue with a lot of new content to focus on, not to mention a new channel with Father Jason and Father Tito, and plenty of new stuff on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. If you haven't already, subscribe to each of these handles because you are not going to want to miss this adventure. God bless you, and see you in about a month.